The following is a sponsored program paid for by First Alliance Credit Union. Welcome to Good Money Moves, featuring Jenna Taubel from First Alliance Credit Union and Andy Brownell. Here's Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk, 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
It's time for Good Money Moves. I'm Andy Brownell, along with Jenna Taubel, Director of Brand and Digital Member Experience at First Alliance Credit Union. Hello, Jenna.
Hey, Andy.
Last week, it was all about staycations and ways we could have fun and still save money and have a vacation. What's the Good Money Moves topic this week?
Well, I've got some interesting life hacks for managing your money that I would like to share with our listeners today.
I love life hacks.
Yeah. Hopefully you find them as interesting as I do. So, but most days, that credit unions, banks, financial institutions, they give you all kinds of tools to help you take care of managing your money, right? There's online banking and with all these bill pay options or the mobile apps that you can access and person-to-person payments and things like debit and credit card controls and, of course, ATMs. And in the case of First Alliance, we have our advisor-supported kiosks. They all have all kinds of features that let you manage your money more efficiently. And sometimes you can actually use these in some pretty innovative ways to make managing your money a little bit easier and less stressful. So today I thought I'd give our listeners some life hacks that they can take advantage of to just, make managing money a little bit easier day to day.
Excellent. I love this. What's the first life hack you have for us?
Yeah, so my first one is to set up a separate account for your bills. And I'll explain this. So Most people use some form of electronic bill pay, whether that's through the service that you use that you're paying the bill for or through the bill pay function within your financial institution's online banking platform, right? There's lots of different ways to pay your bill electronically. And you can even automate some of those bills to ensure that they're paid on time. However, a lot of people get nervous about setting up automated payments to come out of their accounts because they're worried that they aren't going to have enough money in there if they're not, watching those funds close enough, or that when the time comes for the bill to come out, that they'll have accidentally spent more than they realized. Or maybe they'll forget to move money from their savings to their checking to cover something, right? So one of the ways to help eliminate this concern and be able to fully utilize bill payment automation so that you don't have to remember to pay that bill every month is to open up a separate account that you dedicate specifically to paying your bills every month. That's the only thing that it's used for. You don't run debit card transactions through there. You don't necessarily even have your direct deposit going in there unless that's the way you choose to set it up. And again, this can be a checking or a savings account. I would recommend a checking account because you are going to have money coming out of it more frequently than you will going into it. But essentially, when you have this account, if you do a little bit of budgeting, you should know how much money you need to have in there to cover the majority of your bills every month. And what you do is you just transfer money from your main account where you get your paycheck deposited or whatever that is into this account, and then set up all of your automated electronic payments to come out of that account solely. And then you leave the rest of those funds in the account, in a separate account that you use to run debit card transactions to make, pay for your gas or your groceries or those little one-offs that are just whatever throughout the month, right?
Okay.
So
you're talking about my utility bills here,
loan payments, anything where it's the same time every month, roughly the same amount of money every month. It's not like there's going to be 1 month where you don't have to pay things, cell phone bills, internet, all of those things are relatively the same amount of money every month. Yep. So you can kind of estimate exactly how much money you need to be able to pay those. So in doing, you also get this nice record of funds in a really clean way that show exactly what bills you've paid and haven't, right? It's not because if you keep it in one account,
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like
mixed
that.
in with all your other transactions, it's really easy to lose track if you're swiping your debit card, let's say 2 times a day consistently, and then you also have some of your regular payments coming out. It's really easy to lose track of, oh, did I pay the loan payment this month? Did I pay the utility bill this month? And without having to search, if you keep those a little bit separated, it becomes a lot easier to keep track of. I have definitely paid these bills this month, and this is how much I have available to spend on all the other stuff.
Yeah. And you can do that at a quick glance. That's what I like about it.
Exactly. And, if you are worried about overdrawing this separate kind of automated bill pay account, we'll call it, you can always put a little extra money in that account up front just to make sure there's a little cushion just in case a bill goes up unexpectedly, or maybe RPU decides to increase their prices exponentially again, and all of a sudden your utility bill's a lot more expensive than it was the month before, and you weren't expecting it. So you do what you should and can.
It would be that they added a new fee.
Right. Yes. But yeah, so this is just, again, you don't have to do it, but it's a great way to make sure all of those regular reoccurring bills are paid on time every month, and you don't have to remember. You can set it up and know it's taken care of. You don't have to think about it. It removes that stress of, oh, I got to pay this bill yet. Oh, I got to pay this. No, you don't. Set it up, make it happen automatically. You don't even have to think about it. You just have to make sure that maybe check it every couple months to make sure all of the payments are going the way that they're supposed to, and that you've got money in there.
But as you point out too, you could also have your direct deposit, you've explained this to me in the past, automatically take that amount that you estimated every month is needed and direct it into that account, and the rest of it goes to your main account.
Exactly.
And then you really don't have to think about it.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways that you can set up the funds to go into that account for sure as well.
See, that's why I like life hacks. Okay.
Yes.
Any other ways we can make managing money a bit easier?
Yeah, so I would say that you've heard of the envelope method for budgeting. We've talked about it before. You've used it. Excellent. And we've talked about it a handful of times before on this show. And how that works is essentially you take a stack of envelopes and you write down on each one of these envelopes your different budgeting categories. So groceries, mortgage, gas, food, restaurants, whatever it is. And then in theory, you would take all of your money that you have in cash and separate those out into these different envelopes based on how much you are budgeting for. So $500 to the rent envelope, $50 to your restaurant envelope, $80 to the grocery envelope, right?
Jenna, what is that, 1965 with these numbers?
I know, right? Who carries cash around? And and most people do not want to cash out their paychecks anymore, right? So
no, but I'm thinking $80 for groceries? Come on.
No, you're getting. Don't make fun of my examples. It's just the concept.
Okay,
Don't get hung up on the numbers.
All right.
Yeah. So, but as you mentioned, and what we just talked about, right? Most payments are done electronically now. So when we talk about the envelope method these days, what you would want to do is have your money direct deposited into an account, and then you can split that money up into separate accounts. Are you following me? So you would
account for every envelope.
Yeah, exactly. So you would create multiple savings or checking accounts and use them as a digital envelope. So instead of pulling it out in cash and putting it physically in these envelopes, you use that methodology and apply it to your accounts within your membership. For example, at First Alliance, you can open up 12 separate savings accounts and up to 4 checking accounts, I believe it is at First Alliance.
Okay. So that should be enough. Yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of really start to play around with how you want to budget your money that way. And a really neat thing, I don't know if this is true of other financial institutions, but I love this feature at First Alliance. You can actually rename your accounts in our online banking platform to help keep yourself more organized. So if you have multiple car loans, you can name them. This is my Santa Fe. This is my Nissan. This is my Chevy, whatever it is. And for accounts, if you have multiple checking accounts, that, again, going back to our example a moment ago, you maybe have your bill pay checking account and your debit card checking account, to keep those things separate. You can name them that to help keep yourself more organized.
So you can name one clothes, one groceries, one utilities, on and on and on. Okay.
Yeah. And so you open up these multiple accounts, and then you label them with your different budgeting categories. And then every time you get a paycheck deposited, you can then transfer money either manually or automatically, depending on how you want to set that up and manage that, from that main checking account where you're getting that direct deposit to then each of these different savings accounts or other checking accounts based on how you choose to allocate your budget into those categories. This may not seem like a life hack right now, because it seems like I'm telling you to do a lot more work, and I am a little bit, because it does take a little bit of work up front to set this up and complete it and kind of fine tune it to the way that you want it to be. But it is well worth it in the long run, because you no longer have to try to use another tool to manage how much is in each category and then try to, in your brain, keep track of it within a single account, because sometimes that gets a little fuzzy.
Yep.
And of course, if you use a debit card to make all your payments, right, all you need to do is take out your mobile app and transfer the money from the one budget category to your checking account, and then use your debit card. And it's just an easy and convenient way to really stick to your budget and keep yourself financially organized, because that's where a lot of people run into struggle with maintaining that budget, is they don't have a clear way to keep those categories separated in front of them on a regular basis.
And you're right. And that is the beauty of the envelope method. It forces you. Mm-hmm. It brings discipline to the process, but you can duplicate it this way. I love that.
Yeah.
And yet not have this cash laying around all over the place.
Yeah. Don't do that. And as a bonus hack, I will tell you, if you're someone who typically uses their credit card to pay for everything, you can still use this method, right? And how it works would be, whenever you make a purchase, you then transfer the funds from that budget category account to pay your credit card. So you can still very much set up your budget, still use that credit card so that you can rack up those rewards, or whatever. I would assume you're using a rewards card if you're using it all the time, but and then you're also paying off that balance every month. You don't have to worry about the interest, because you make the purchase, you take the money out, pay it off right away from that category. It does mean you have to be a little bit more diligent about tracking what you spend, but that's kind of the whole point.
Exactly. That's what the good money move is right there.
Yes.
Keeping track of what you're spending money on. All right. Life hacks, the topic today on Good Money Moves. Jenna Taubel with First Alliance Credit Union has some more for us right after the break, and we'll be back in a moment on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good Money Moves continues in moments with Andy Brownell and Jenna Taubel from First Alliance Credit Union. This is News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Council.
We're talking Good Money Moves with Andy Brownell and Jenna Taubel from First Alliance Credit Union on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome back. More Good Money Moves, more life hacks with Jenna Taubel with First Alliance Credit Union. I like the last one you brought up for a lot of reasons. I think number one is, if you try to do the envelope method virtually, which a lot of people attempt because, as we talked about, having the cash around can get messy. You tend to fudge it. You tend to cheat.
Yeah.
And this would help you not cheat. So I like that a lot. What other life hacks do you have for us?
Yeah, well, at the start of the show, I mentioned the advisor-supported kiosk. And we've talked about these before on the show. We've talked about them a lot if you follow us on social media or on our blog or have spent any time in one of our branches. We talk about these all the time because we think they're so cool. But one thing that's so obvious, it's actually easy to overlook, and that it's a really cool benefit. Okay, so while the advisors that run the kiosk, so if you need help, you can call up an advisor by pressing the assist button on the kiosk, and they'll pop up and they'll help you just like they would if they were at a teller line. But because they're human, they have set hours when they're available.
You allow them to sleep.
We allow them to sleep and eat, I know. But you can still access all of your accounts on the kiosk at any time without an advisor. And so that means that you can do a lot of the basic transactions that most people are looking to do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So essentially the credit union is open always. You always have access to all of your funds. You don't have to wait for an advisor to help you make a withdrawal or a deposit or transfer funds or make loan payments in a lot of cases. So let's say if you need to have some banking you need to do and the credit union's maybe really busy, you came over the lunch hour when everybody came to do some financial transactions. That means that you can come back during the off hours if your transaction isn't something that needs to be done immediately, right? If you'd like to deposit money in your account on your way home, for instance, and you see that, again, every other First Alliance member had the same idea on their way home from work, you maybe don't have to feel like you have to sit and wait in that line. You can go get another errand done, for instance, or you could drive home, eat some dinner, come back later, run your kids to soccer practice, or even come back at midnight and make a deposit if you want. We are essentially open 24 hours a day for you to do these things. And in a tongue-in-cheek way, we like to refer to this as night banking.
Okay.
It's a little silly, but it's a fun way just to kind of say that you can do your banking in the off hours, and it actually has a lot of benefits to doing so for yourself, right? This is the kind of the fun little life hack part of it. It's a lot less stressful because you don't have to wait in such long lines and worry about how much time you're spending just sitting there waiting your turn to get your finances taken care of, which means you have a lot more free time and less time spent sitting in a drive-through or waiting in line is more time that you get with family, friends, to do hobbies, whatever it is you want to do. And then, of course, and you don't have to worry about what you're wearing if you come and make a deposit or a withdrawal at night. Nobody's there. So you can come in your pajamas if you want. Just come on to the drive up, right? I mean, it's a little silly, I know, but it is a life hack, right? I mean, most people are so used to, oh, I have to get to my bank or my credit union, in so much time frame because that's when they're open and that's when I can access my funds. Well, with the advisor supported kiosk, life hack, you don't have to worry about that anymore. You can literally come, make a deposit, make a withdrawal, do all of these things when it's most convenient for you.
Very,
24/7.
very slick, yeah.
7 days a week. We technically are never closed.
So people generally don't get dressed up anymore to go to the bank. Have you ever seen somebody come in a way that you thought was a bit surprising?
Me personally, I have not, but I assure you, if one of our advisors or our managers who work in our lobbies more frequently would probably have some stories that I do not.
Perhaps that's a little too casual right there, but not for the kiosks.
No, nothing.
Okay, no. Excellent. A good life hack to know about, that's for sure. We'll return with more life hacks with Good Money Moves on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good Money Moves continues in moments with Andy Brownell and Jenna Taubel from First Alliance Credit Union. This is News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM. With Moves with Andy Brownell and Jenna Taubel from First Alliance Credit Union on Rochester's News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
It's Good Money Moves, and we're talking about life hacks this week. Things to make it easier and less stressful on you to manage your finances, your money. So do you have any other life hacks, Jenna?
I do. And you kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier in the show, but I want to elaborate on it because I think this is a really good life hack that everybody needs to know about. And that is that you can split up your paychecks automatically. So, for instance, you can automatically have a portion of your paycheck that through direct deposit put into your savings account and then split the rest into your checking account. And this is a great way for you to build up your savings, especially for something like an emergency fund. If in the past you struggled to put that money aside on your own, because a lot, right? We get in our own way a lot of times. It's really painful to take $100 out of your checking account and put it in your savings account because you're like, well, what if I need that $100 for something fun?
Psychological barrier. Yeah.
It is. So using that automation to remove that barrier and set yourself up for success is what we're talking about here. And again, you can do that by one, having your direct deposit split for you before it ever hits your account. And this is going to be different with every business. Obviously, you'll need to talk to somebody in your HR department for the company you work for if this is possible. But you can have your funds split in even more than two ways in some instances, right? You could have part of it go to one checking account, one part go to a savings, the other one go to another savings. There's a couple different ways to do it. If that is not an option, let's say that your HR department will only send it to one place, which, that's fine too. You should also be able to set up automatic transfers within your online banking or your mobile app. I know this is true for First Alliance. I obviously cannot speak for other financial institutions, but you can do this at First Alliance. You take whatever amount, right? Generally you're going to get paid every 2 weeks or every month. It's very systematic in most cases. You don't have to wonder when the paycheck is coming. So you can set up these automatic transfers for every payday to move funds immediately from your checking account where that direct deposit comes in over to a savings account, for example.
How about if I tried the envelope method with the accounts? Could I have it set up in that way to automatically put so much in groceries, automatically put so much
Absolutely.
I like that.
Absolutely. You can. So again, kind of building on what we talked about earlier with the envelope method, this would be a very good tool because then you don't have to be the one to go in there manually and do that for yourself. There's definitely automated ways to manage your funds. I think that more people need to utilize this because you will be so surprised, even if you just move $25 a month or a paycheck into a savings account and you don't physically have to do it, how quickly you will forget that that's even happening, and you will quickly see that savings grow because you didn't have to be the one to physically do it. You moved
Absolutely.
yourself out of your own way.
Yeah, and as you pointed out, you'll discover how painless it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Great life hacks. I'm going to have to keep notes and actually pursue them. I really like the envelope thing.
Yeah.
That one takes so much of the work out of it right there.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jenna Taubel, do you have any other places where we can learn more about things that can make our lives easier while still managing our finances?
I certainly do, Andy Brownell. Our listeners can visit our website at firstalliancecu.com. They can subscribe to our blog where we release new financial tips and advice every week. You can also subscribe to Good Money Moves on Apple, Google, and Spotify podcasts. And you can listen to past episodes at firstalliancecu.com/podcast or on kerosnews.com. If you have a financial topic or a question that you would like covered on Good Money Moves, feel free to send me an email at marketing@firstalliancecu.com. And of course, I strongly encourage you to reach out to our team at First Alliance Credit Union so they can help you start making good money moves today.
That's First Alliance Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA and an equal housing lender. This has been Good Money Moves. Jenna Taubel with First Alliance Credit Union. Thank you, of course, and we'll talk next week.
Absolutely.
All right. Good Money Moves on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.